Today, Rinpoche went over the 37 branches of enlightenment, and specifically the section on the 4 close placements of mindfulness, using Panchen Sonandrapa's general meaning of perfection as a tool to understand it. Dang the Ngagi Tepa? Okay. So we're going to continue from where we left off last time, where we find that the explanation of that these two, which are the method and wisdom, are necessary in order to practice Tantrayana. So this is the second category within that, Tuchina, and that's where we're going to begin. Let me find it in the English for you, one moment, and we'll go right from there. The Puik Natsukabiore. Okay. Yep. Okay, so we're on page 97 in the English. So that's where we'll begin. And this is where it shows the necessity of the perfection vehicle and the union of method and wisdom within it, which is the basis in the tantric vehicle. The Inji, the Chanlasa.
Oh, yeah, the lot of
Becha Lomason, Yine, the Inji, the Kabiare Lapson.
Then the road, Najunga, Chigi, the law. Let that be taught to Shiraz at the water and Maria. Then once Hajina, Saint Jane, Hubble Logo, which you say, Chatham Logo, Hobby in Badnisheva, Sungan, Sumbatrimbe, Sumbatrin.
Tambo, the Jutsin.
Hubble. Saint Jane Logo, which you say. Shebal Lon, the low Chatham logo, the Snibaji.
Chasawa Sena?
Chatham, Sheba Kajila, Kajila Malon Saji, 2 mothers. Some Gugres.
Oh, okay, all.
Shedu and Jilhon and Digama, Nilhon.
Lesser.
Some Gugres, whatever.
Sumba?
Talhaba Lubi, Rimba Nishebas.
Rimba Ni?
Nishebas. Hobal Candes Lugars. What the Leon do that and ma Larry Jemada, we thought the Shira Paris.
Oh, lesser. 2 stages, Parshi and Tepa Dangai. 2 Chena. Okay, so the first, so in this section, we're going to find 3 categories. And these 3 categories are as follows. First, we'll find reasons for this. Second category is that all concur that all the perfections are needed, that you can't just leave one out and still achieve Buddhahood. They are all needed. Everyone concurs on this. This is something that everyone agrees on. And then the explanation of the 2 stages. So there's the perfection vehicle and the tantric vehicle. So now we're dealing with the tantric vehicle, the necessity of the union and method of the union of method and wisdom that we even find in the perfection vehicle to produce the tantric vehicle, the necessity of it. Disa.
Shira Parudu Shimba Drugi, Dubala, Hubane, Hajibatara, Senjene, Shidul Lobatero, Shidul Hoban Hajibatara, Hata, Pajinti Banigi Tumores, Habatuga, Shindul Logure, Pajinti Baga, Shindul Logures, Shindu de, Pajinti Batan, Naniki Tumores, Tumoy de. Haji Junchiwa Domane, Jai Kantan, Hai Goba Jenji, Juma Tanji, Nagi Senju, Della Shibitse, Shindu Dan, Shanju Sudun Dan, Tony Judula Sobi, Haru de Shimbi, Lang Yonsu Dubala, Yana to Shibiros, what the heck, what are.
Less so. So 99 is the page that we're on, by the way. I think I said 97, so the English is 99. The This training in method and wisdom comprising the 6 perfections is, as explained earlier, common to both the mantra and perfection vehicles. For in many of the tantric texts, we find repeated mention of the complete path of the perfections, the 6 perfections, 37 branches of enlightenment, the 16 emptinesses, etc., in the context of the explanations that the entire celestial mansion and array of resident deities are the inner qualities of the mind, are the inner qualities of the mind. So here, this is showing that when we look at the perfection vehicle and we look at the 6 perfections specifically, these 6 perfections are common. So we have things that are common and things that are not common. But the perfections are something that is common to both the sutra vehicle and the tantric vehicle. So this is what is being explained here, and it's showing the connection of these perfections to the result, the tantric result. Dikso. Leso. Doni dupi shira jidru. Okay, tuchena. Leso. Nishu jutru. Leso. Chingyu. Okay. So again, it reads, for in many of the tantric classics, we find repeated mention of the complete path of the perfections, the 6 perfections, the 37 branches of enlightenment, the 16 emptinesses, etc., in the context of the explanations that the entire celestial mansion and the array of resident deities are the inner qualities of the mind. So what this is saying that is when we look at all 4 classes of Tantra, we look at the action Tantra, performance Tantra, yogic Tantra, and highest yogic Tantra, and we look at the explanations of how the various deities are created and how the various residences, the pure residencies, anyway, are created. When we look at the explanations in these 4 tantric vehicles, we find that it states that these are a result of the inner qualities of the mind. So if one were to say, show or posit these inner qualities of the mind, we would state the excellent qualities of the mind, such as the 6 perfections, the 37 branches of enlightenment. And here it says 16 emptinesses. We have to broaden that and understand what's inferred within that. Because the 16 emptinesses themselves are permanent, it's actually the 16 wisdoms realizing emptinesses, the 16 exalted wisdoms of emptiness. So this is a distinction because that's a consciousness as a note, which is impermanent. So the inner qualities or workings of the mind require impermanent things. Because the mind is impermanent. So that, this is what it's meaning. So this becomes consciousness when you say the wisdom realizing the 16 emptinesses. So that was just as a translator's note. So it's stating that the inner qualities of the mind that produce the celestial mansions, that produce the deities and so forth, are the 37 branches of enlightenment, the 6 perfections, and the 16 wisdoms realizing emptiness. So these are the excellent qualities that are spoken of here. When you can, even where it says inner qualities of the mind, you could say inner excellent qualities of the mind. Disung Rinpoche.
다 가서 다 상주 어들 지르면서 들 상주 수준 그 민템바자마도 상주 수준 가돌 담도 다 등에 배신 이셔도 거의 원인 수준 수준 어데 원나 상주 수준 원 강세 나스 상주 수준 다 배신 그때는 막 제부송도 와 원나 상주 수준 원 강세 나 원자도 요데 Tibetan Buddhism was that Tibetan Buddhism was the Buddhist Tradition was the Onbunga, Tonga, Shanshu and Ladu, Palang and Laji. The sentient doing do. Tibetan Buddhism was the same. Yada Pong the same. Tibetan Buddhism was the other Pong. Tradition can be the same. Tradition can be and then Onbunga, Tonga, Shanshu and Ladu, Palang and Laji. The same that doing do.
So then, here it just says the 37 branches of enlightenment. And this is very abbreviated. So what are these 37 branches of enlightenment? So in order to understand this, we need to look to another text. So Rinpoche has chosen Panchen Sunandrapa's general meaning of perfection to help us understand these 37 branches of enlightenment. So they're divided into various categories. So the text that he has, which is the general meaning of perfection, states, what are the 37 branches of enlightenment? These 37 branches of enlightenment are divided into the following categories. The first category are 4 categories of the 4 aspects of the close placements of mindfulness. The second category, the 4 perfect abandonments. The third category, the 4 aspects of the legs of magical emanation. The next category, 1, 2, 3. The fourth category is the 5 aspects of the faculties. The fifth category is the 5 aspects of the strengths. What number was that? Anyway, the next category are the 7 aspects of the branches of enlightenment. And the next category are the 8 aspects of the branches of the path of the nobles. And Rinpoche went through them twice. So again, the first category are the 4 aspects of the close placements of mindfulness, the 4 perfect abandonments, the 4 aspects of the legs of magical emanation, the 5 aspects of the faculties, the 5 aspects of strengths, the 7 aspects of the branches of enlightenment, and the 8 aspects of the branches of the path of the nobles. Then Rinpoche, the Sache Pui Kuna Yanjar Suranang, Tambo the Ji. Yeah, Sache.
Sache.
Ngay the checking, che. The Tambo, the Sunchu Sudun. Tambo Ji. Okay. Je, Gamba Je, Nga, Nga, Dun, Je. Okay. Selpo Lapsach. Lapsach. Need checking.
Shanshu Sudin the line be chow. Ne Shanshu Sudin but there, Netwilla you are, Rangela you are, Tijinla you are, 상아 티발레요 참말요레스 참마다 투모 있는 저기도
Less so. So the 37, they're saying branches or aspects. I'm sorry, I have so many texts here. The 37 branches of enlightenment are necessarily pathways. So when we look at how we categorize them, if it is among the 37 branches of enlightenment, it is necessarily a pathway. And we find this in common to all the vehicles. So the hearer vehicle, solitary realizer vehicle, then the bodhisattva vehicle of both the perfection vehicle and the tantric vehicle. So we find these 37 paths within all of those different vehicles mentioned, or it pervades them all. Diksun.
다 tempa nyawa jabashi dungu non tomba tempa nyawa jabashi terwa tempa nyawa jabashi jit ma chibala ane wade saji garo do peshin jena
Zu so sam chu.
tempa nyawa jab miba je ta tomba tempa nyawa jab miba lewa re tempa jaba tomba la tu yute tempa nyawa jab miba chosna miba.
Okay.
Awore tomba la tu yute tanga dongro 미바지 ane
Gar tambo
tama nyawaja mibaji ngoji troji gonsuji gombi gobaji dadun trodo tro tama nyawaja miba tama nyawaja miba gares tambaji
leso nipa
mibaji tama nyawaja ngo cheni
nature
do
tuchena.
ya 제 뭐지 저는 대바 녀아잡이 주스나 그런 소마데비 센세주 꾸는 거라서 뭐요. 저 주도 어디서 자고도 와.
권둥아
주 센중도 자들.
leso.
센세주. 다 대바 녀아 가서 공비치.
Let's go. This sumba sen samjung. Then jipa.
공비 그봐. 대바 녀아 공비 그봐 가려요. 그래서
What is the meditation? What?
Dene?
Gomjap, gombi. Okay.
Gombi gobaji.
Dene ngapa?
Ngapa da dadne. Temanya yasa dai tune. Dashi soro dashi. Dai tune. Temanya yasa logo andende res. Dashi.
Dradun. Dun meaning dra. Sound.
Dashi logo dashi. Ko mig tune dashi jayoro. Temanya wa jabas. Dul kuwashi ayoro.
Okay, meaning. Then drupa?
That's the Tangzhuang. Tama nyaja mibaji, ngoji, troji, gongsuji, gombi gobaji, dadun, troji zhuang.
Mipa ngo
Tro.
san samjung gom the jipa. Then dradun ngapa.
Gombi goba.
Then gombi gupa. Then jipa gare. Oh, need med. Okay. Supple.
Gombi gobaji. Then troba the dadun ro dadun.
Okay, supple. Okay, so we have 6 categories that will be gone over. So I don't know why. 6 categories that we will go over. The first category is the object. The second category is the definition or nature. The third category is the explanation of relation. This one we'll have to see when we get to it, of mind and mental factors. The fourth category is what is the meditation. The fifth category is the meaning of these words or the sound. And the sixth category is the need for meditation, or the need, Gombi Gupa, the need for meditation. So these are the 6 categories that we find in the general meaning of perfection. Diksun.
Mipa. Tempa nyawaja mipa choos na tombo mipa yude. Tempa nyawaja mipa teres lu, soa, sen, chuje teres, chuje de. Tempa nyawaja mipa res. Lu jinga su bari marbe. Sen je. Tene soa, tene churo, chu. Lu su sen chuje de. Tempa nyawaja mipa res. Tempa nyawaja be lu su sen chuje la mi ne. 동니 공부하래 다음에 뭐 공부하러 어떤 공부하래서 르츠 센주제 티 메바 임베제 담반이자 메바데스
Teacher, lesso. So now the first category that we go through is object of observation, or object. So what is the object of the four aspects of the four close placements of mindfulness? So the first category is bodies, second category feelings, third category minds, and fourth category phenomena. So these are the four categories of or the four objects of observation of the four close placements of mindfulness. So it's what this close placement of mindfulness is observing. There are four categories. These are the four. And the categories are objects of observation. Dixon.
다 르츠 센주제데 담반이 녀와자 메바레스로 르츠 센주제데 담반자 녀와자 메바이나 오나 르드 간데자 고르스나 르라 송요레스 지단 르라 조이 조 셰바 데멘 송고노네 르라 조마도 네 셰바도 데멘 유요 말해 네 르이나 조이 미차
Lesso.
조이 미차스 다 르라 송요레스 르라 송요데 나길르 시르 신나니길르
Okay.
어디 송자고도와
Lesso.
나길르 너가서 메고보 나요보 타요보 지요보 어부 조진 신도 당 나요로 나
Lesso.
어디 나길르
Lesso.
조진 신도 나보다 나길르레스
Lesso.
때데마도 동안 나 동반이레스 어디 내야버시 내가도
Lesso. Demba Madrupa Nang Tombani.
나 동반 시동반이 나 신나니기 동반
I see.
자고로 어디서 전 되네도
Observing. Okay, so the first category of bodies, body is necessarily categorized form. So if it's body, it's necessarily form. Body is never under the category of consciousness or non-associated compositional factors. So it is always necessarily form. And when we look at the categories of this, there are three. There is inner, outer, and both. So what this is referring to is the observation of the lack of true establishment, which is establishing the emptiness of inner, outer, and that which is both of form, of body, rather. So one is just establishing this emptiness of inner, outer, and both body. So this is what this first category is, and what this close placement of mindfulness on this objects of observation is doing. Dixon.
다 나길려도 어디지 다 실려도 다 아무 마음이 다 주주가 버지 이제로다 감바다 신동다 어디서가로 시르이로 시르인데 시주 임베저 어디서
So that first category, inner, is referring to the sense powers, the powers. Outer is referring to anything outer that is not the sense powers. So this is referring to that. Nene, Nika Yimba?
다 신나니 길려들어 신나니 길려도 가서 미도도 주로 미도 나와도 나도도 오데 신나니 길려 인사래 신나니 길려 인데 오블라도도 시 줄라도 나인자 신나니 길려 인스
So the next category of both is referring to that which is neither only inner body or only outer body, and it's some concomitant, something which aids the sense power, which powers the consciousness in observing an object, in that process. So it's neither outer nor inner only. It's something which is both. So it interacts with both outer and inner. I think that's the best way to translate it. I don't have a strong intellectual grasp on this material, so I'm raw translating it. So I'm just being really careful with the way I do it, because I know that I don't know this material as well as some of the other material. Digsung Rinpoche.
다 나게 려도 언나로 아무 조진 신도 당화 주에 서르다데 신도 차와 시고 나지 신도 당화 주에 알았어 어들래 네 주도 샤용 알았어 들라데네 메시게 네 주도 통고 알았어.
So there's a very subtle, small, so if we look at the eye sense power, there's a very subtle powering agent that powers the consciousness to allow it to apprehend form. So this is how that process works. We have this inner, very subtle sense power, in this case, of the eye, which is powering this consciousness to apprehend and understand form. Okay.
나고 아버지게 다진지 주그 미진지 줄 따고 있냐고 상로 줘로 대대마 타진 미지 쉐바데 제비체 젠송라 덴제 와르스.
So we have three categories. We have the observed object. We have the observed object, and then we have an immediately preceding dachen dema dachen, immediately preceding condition. So what that is so the observed object is the form, for instance. The immediately preceding condition is this thought to observe a form, and the yanjasuranang.
다존이 미시다 존이 미시다부터 다진 오벌라든 제요아레스.
Dachen.
조진 신도 당와 들라든 제요아레스. 미진 조제 근데 줄 따고 있냐고 상로 줘로 담아타지. 젠송라 때네 미기시바 제요아레스. 원시나 젠송라 땐 집이 차스. 어들라고 말봐.
So there's the thought, there's the powering condition, and then the observed object. So the thought is the immediately preceding condition, the powering condition, the sense power is powering it, and then the observed object is the form itself. And I'm going to just look up that terminology if I have a chance. It's right here, but I believe that's it. I just haven't dealt with this in a long time. Digsung Rinpoche.
다 가서 어디 남이 준 들으시더라고다. 천리발 뒤나 어디 가서 천리발도 가르쳐.
So this is something that we as Buddhists would posit, but then we have to wonder, what would a scientist say about this? How would a scientist react to this idea that we posit like this?
천리발을 도와먹 찍으래. 도와지로는 갈래 시행을 했어.
Scientists have so many are great scholars and are able to engage in further analysis, in-depth analysis, like that doubt we speak of. They're able to engage in that. Digsung.
미기 쉐바드 젠송라 민다 미기 쉐바 스크마 미기 쉐바 나이 쉐바 지 쉐바 르지 쉐바 원신가요 말. 원신가부 강로이나 젠송라 된 집 차우스.
원신가 유나 this
원신이나 라잔데.
원신이나 this sum
차우스.
Okay. So when we look at the sense consciousness, we look at the various sense consciousness. We have eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tasting tongue consciousness, and tactile consciousness. All of these five have these three conditions, which are the empowering condition, the observed object condition, and the immediately preceding condition. So all three of them have this. Diksun.
다 르스 센주 르 초아 센주지데 담만 여자가 메바레스 다 르도 어떤 지인바레 다 니바 초아도 간데서나 초아라 송유데스 드도 당중 송유베스 초아 도하 동에 당중 송유아레스.
So the next category under objects is feeling. So there are 3 categories of feeling. There is happy feeling, feeling of suffering, and a feeling of equanimity, literally. Sometimes translated as neutral, but a feeling of equanimity is the most literal translation.
초아로 와도 송유아레스 드도 당중 송유베스 다 르 초아 다 송바 세마르베 세 담만 여자 메바 세 조스나 나바시바단 된지도 중요해서 나바시바 센스는 나시 된시레 센이나 나시 미쳐 나시나 센이 미쳐 센다 이다 나시 송 된시스
Sem namshe. Okay.
센스나 미기 나바시바 나이 나바시바 나이 나바시바 지 나바시바 르지 나바시바 이지 나바시바 시바 주요 말아 주 당가서 오만 단주가 지나 조자 그래 안에 센서바도 저기 제자해 요아래 네 그래서 군지당 뇌 돈 어떤 뭐 자해 요로 다 오만 단주를 제자 집이나 오만 아주바도
Bless you.
야
So there are 6 types of consciousness: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, tactile consciousness, and mental consciousness. Now, this breakdown of consciousness is according to the middle way, the middle way school. Now, if we look at, for instance, the mind-only school, we also have 8 different kinds of consciousness because the mind-only school adds extra consciousness. They add the storehouse consciousness and then the storehouse consciousness and, hold on 1 second. Other powered, I can't remember it. Why isn't it just right here? Okay, Diksa. So the mind-only school posits 8 consciousness instead of 6 consciousness. One of them is storehouse consciousness. The other one we can look up later. So this is, again, according to the middle way school. And there we see that mind, consciousness, and awareness, these are all synonymous. So all of these words that we're using are synonymous. Diksun.
다 센다 센주스 나왔더니 세 유지 모리 비차는 세 유지 제발이 비차는 센중스 자산도와 유지 모리 비차는 주주 모리 비차는 존진 미시 주지 제발이 비차는 초알아서 봐 어떤 자간도와 배신지나 센데 랑 코드중 센중도 소바 dembe 조이지 나리드 센센이스 랑 코드중 미그 나바시브 코드중 소환 뒤실라서 어떤 손대로 미그 나바시바데 미그 나바시브 코드 소환 뒤실 세바 일라시브 봐 나요 말아 나도 손대디 손유 나바시바들라 센라 그래스 더 나시도 그거 답을 말아 라고 코드중 센중도 소바 dembe 조이지 나리 센지 센이스 어떤 가서 때는 로리스 버자 추중주로 어떤 로리 로셀리 나오도 손을 로리 뭐 요래 버자 뉴뉴던 요래 야 인슈도 주에는 맨나고.
Okay, so we look at what there are various definitions of the mind and mental factors. When we look at mental factors, we have the 5 omnipresent mental factors, and then we have those 5 omnipresent mental factors are always there whenever there is a consciousness. And this is part of the definition of this mind. When we look, Rinpoche is saying that you can go to the mind and awareness text, and you can. It's a very small text, and we have it in English, and you can find the basic definitions of these things. And just give me 1 second. So whenever there is a consciousness present, there is feeling, there is discrimination, there is intention, there is contact, there is mental engagement. So these are the 5 omnipresent mental factors. When we look at mental factors themselves, there are 6: omnipresent, determining, victorious, root affliction, secondary affliction, and changeable factors. But omnipresent mental factors, there are 5. And these are always present whenever there is a consciousness. So within the definition, and we'll get the exact after, I'm going to need to. Within the definition of this mind, we find that there is necessarily this inclusion of the mental factors. And then I'll get the definition of the mental factor also at break, because I don't think that I'm going to 35, 39, 99, 101. I don't think I'm going to have, it'll take me about the lorig becha, then the page garre, then the seni la tugdu. The yabudue.
Yeah.
35 to 39. He's saying you're not going to be able to find it. I said, I'm looking in the index. There is the name mental factor. This is the book he's talking about, and I can look it up and then say it to everyone. So he said, that's a good idea. So if just one moment here, I can bring it up. Mind here is synonymous with main mind, and that is which knows the mere entity of the object being apprehended. Minds are accompanied by mental factors which apprehend various features of that object, affecting the manner in which the mind apprehends its object and so forth. Mind and mental factors have respect to any particular object, these varying similarities. And then 99. It's Seni Lapsar Rinpoche. Seni Nipa Lagu.
Le Tsoa Senga Dulezon. That's Senji Seri, Libby Seri is Momishi de Mundo, Seri Bazuka. Libak Seri down, Seng Seri Momishi, Sendu, Seng Naja, the Shesuna, Seng Seri, the Shedmarva. Injiro.
Seri
Bazuka, Libby Seri.
Okay, so scientists say that when we look at consciousness and mind, they say that the brain itself is responsible for much of this activity. So we would have to find out what scientists would say about this and ask, because they posit that the brain is responsible for this. So we would have to see how they would include this material.
So
then if you're able to gather all of this together, then you'd be able to understand the real nature of what the mind is, if you can somehow gather all of these different things. So now we've gone through the first 3, mindfulness of body, feeling, and mind, and now we get to phenomena.
Chula song yu de choa ma tu bi san jun da demen du je da de ma shi ji chu song yu bi se tu ka sa chu de la song yu ares choa ma yin bi ne san da san jun du kan ro chu de es tene demen du je zo shi kan ma bi du je me ba demen du je se ni mo ba la yin zo shi ba demen du je so ma de ba demen düje tere dua tene dümaşi tabaro taban dümaşi çusun yöbe otere Chenrezig mi ba lu çoa sen çu jignane çu de wade
Then chu la ena sum.
çu son do son ne çu la son yöde
Zu sheba demen doje.
çoa ma tu sen jun dans de
Okay.
Sowa
Sowa
bajin
main.
çoa ma yin bi sen jun dans çoa ma yin sen jun zo çu yes çu dans sen jun dans tene demen düje Zu sheba demen düje sonuna demen düje de marbe demen düje ngaso lodan dawa tu marbe ne year man
Year month.
dincha o tu demen düje marbe
Okay. Then a sumba.
somba do tere toman dumashi churo taba
Okay. Permanent. Okay.
dumashi churo dumashi churo son yebejes
Okay. So the next category is phenomena, and when we divide phenomena into categories in this particular aspect, we can see that it refers to mental factors that are not feeling, so not feeling mental factors, non-associated compositional factors. So non-associated compositional factors are things such as years, months, days, time. These sorts of things are non-associated compositional factors. And then non-compounds, so permanent phenomena. So these are the three categories that this is referring to.
Da lösü sen şu temel ya miba şey güsen karasına güsen deriz. Lü toa sen şu bu şu temel ya miba yin bir güsen şu olsana şeba na lü da gene şu varız. Şeba sosu şu sentient su de lü de sosu ge ne su varız. Lü ne su bir çaba çıkıyor da. Lü ne su ba dans. Ne lü de sosu kamba zorundaki. Nensu shenpa dans, tsuwa daga longsho de shenpa, tsuwa dedu dangyung songpa de, susu chi karasa kore, longsho de shen karasa longsho. Anda nga su mel longsho yoro wate rabu yinsare. Tsuwa daga longsho de shenpa dans, sen de daga ngu, sen de wate nga yinsang dago jira, nga yinsang de denpa drupan zin, ane matabanzin tabanzin tan je do jiro daga ngo shenba dans chu daga meba chu daga meba shenbi jusen ji tata imbe se chu daga meba shenbi jusen.
Okay, so now, what is the reason that we state that there are these four objects of observation of the the close placements of mindfulness? We say this because of the proximity and relationship that we have with these things. So, for instance, this first category of body, we have very close connection to these things of form, of body. So it's for this reason that we observe the emptiness of body. The next category is feeling. So the three categories of feeling, of happy feeling, suffering feeling, and feeling of equanimity, these feelings are the three possibilities of our emotion. So this is reoccurring. So these are related to the enjoyments and lack thereof, and so forth. So it's for this reason that we have these. And then mind is where we come up with and generate this idea of that I am truly established. So this is the next reason. And then the fourth category of phenomena is because of the closeness that we have with phenomena. Digsung Rinpoche.
다 대마진자 미바지 다 니바 대마진자 네 ngoro 대마진자 ng오스나 다 대마진자 세인 조스는 데 인사래 니바 대마진자 지 ng오유데
Nipa Ngo. Okay.
ng오다 천인 말베 ng오유데 미바 르주 생주지부 관로라 미네 나바라지 생인인수 다네 공부시비 temba당 셰로 간론 주제비 라주지 챵바질라 주베제스 메발르스 센시지부 간론 미네 나바라지 생인인수 다네 공비 temba당 셰로 간론 주비 라주지 챵바 라임이 저그레스도레 메발르스 센시지부 간론 미네 라기 생인공 시 생인 rāngi sēnyi dī shī sēnyi wōlu māndu yu shī tāngchī mā tāpa sācī tāngchī dūngi wā sō wā tēndā sōng yu wā rī tē tēmbā nyā yā yī na dū shī tāngchī mā tāpa tā sācī tāngchī dūngi tēndā gōngbī chāpa yu shī mā rā wā rāngi sēnyi sē na lū mā tāpa gōngbī tēmbā nyā yā jī lū mā tāpa gōngbī rā wā lū mā tāpa gōngbī chā nā rāngi sēnyi gōngbī rē sī lū mā tāpa tā rāngi sēnyi 시르 마다바 시세니 르 마다바 공 르시 마다바 공거바 시세니 공거레스 르 마다바 공비 담반이 야지 랑기 세니 시세니 아고 공 랑기 세니 가르스 공거레스나 르 마다바 공베시르 르 마다바 르 세니레스 마다바 시세니 르 마다바 공도 마다바 공비 차는 거다 라시 세니니서 다나 공비
Okay.
다 공원 가르스나 템바드 셰로 건로스 템바드 셰로 건로 주비 라주지 챵바시라 주비에서 템바드 셰로 템바스는 가서 노파가르 말베 템바 셰로서 왜서 말베
Mhm.
셰로지 건로 주비 라주 템바드 셰로 건로 주비 라주 챵바시라 야고레스 수수군나 군뒤레 파바투메 군뒤레 뭐 가셔나 템바드 셰로 보고스 오늘 파바투메게 안에 자만이야 오데 템바드 셰로 인송도스 콘테레스 ngo사레 템바드 셰로 보 셰송사
Jetsun Shamba, Bechagare,
파바토메 군뒤로 군뒤
Compendium.
파바토메 중들어 사다가 중 돈나니스 샹사니사 어디 사다가 요로 돈나니도 도와도 군뒤니다 말베 도와 군뒤 나도 군뒤 나도 도와다
So, mindfulness. Okay, all right. So when we look at what the definition is of these various things, we find that the four aspects of the close placefulness of mindfulness of bodies, feelings, minds, and phenomena, thoroughly examining their specific and general characteristics by which the path which conceptualizes things engages in the Four Truths. So this is how we would define this. And what would specific be? What would general be? So the impermanence of body would be a specific. Just impermanence itself is general. So this is what the meaning of within this definition of general and specific is. And it's necessary, according to Master Asanga, it's necessary to have this mindfulness, this united with wisdom. So here, this close placement of mindfulness that's what Master Asanga is saying it's referring to. Mindfulness connected with wisdom about bodies, about feelings, about mind, about phenomena. So this is what, according to, we're in two texts now. According to Panchen Sonandrapa's, again, we're general meaning of perfection, which we don't have English for, and then also Master Asanga's I believe, the compendium of trainings. And when we break down, we look at the various bodies of work of of Master Asanga, we divide them into two different categories. The first category would be the 5 treatises on the levels, and then the second category would be the 2 compendiums. And this would fall under the category of the two compendiums. And here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And Asanga's 5 treatises on the levels are Actuality of the Levels, or Levels of Yogic Practice, Compendium of Ascertainments, Compendium of Bases, Compendium of Enumerations, and the Compendium of Explanations. And then we have, I know those are called compendiums, but then we have what are called the 2 compendiums, and it's the Compendium of Knowledge, the Abhidharma Samachaya, and the Compendium on the Mahayana, the Mahayana Samgraha. So those are the 2 compendiums. Okay. Diksun Rinpoche.
어제 다더네 다 손바 대만이 약 주요 됐어. 민바지 뭐지 주 손바 주래도와 대만이 약 주도 좋으나 디 주요데 다다다 손바 대비 생동 생존나 임베서 다다 손바 대비 대만이 약도 손바 대비 생생존도 대만이 약 주래스. 주이 대당 주내 임베서 임베셔데 데니레스 군들이로 주강시나 다다도 손바 대비 생당 생리종아 나서 셰송스
Sumba, Ewa Sumba Mingare?
손바 주주
Drew?
메바지 뭐지 메바서는 대만이야 메바 료스 생주시더라와 메바지
Lesso.
니바 뭐서는 대만이야 생이도 말봐
Lesso.
근데 손바 주서는 대만이야 손바 대비 생생주도 대만이야 주레스 주 대만이야 손바 대비 생당 생주요로 어디서 뒤 주인스라고 주인데
6. Drew. Drew 6?
주 세금만 뭐요로다
Okay, so this next the Chutsujupa lesson, this next
Yeah.
category deals with the mind and mental factors. The Kanga NGK Yomare Rinpoche. In Kali Kabuldu. So these mind and mental, this will deal with all of the mind and mental factors. Then we also have, where do we find this explanation that deals with these mind and mental factors in relation? It's again Master Asanga's compendium is where we will find it. And now we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. This is the text that they teach the monks with. Once they get into the Prajnaparamita class, after they've gone through Dudra, Lorig, and Darig, then they get into the Prajnaparamita texts. Okay. Okay. Before we get started, I just want to give definitions that we missed before. Page 143 in Mind in Tibetan Buddhism. We have mind and mental factors as a category. Now, in the collection of topics in the logic primer, which I went through in the monastery, it's a different definition for mind. So because it's according to a different school, I worked with all different definitions. So the definition, which is at the end of the Lorig, Mind and Awareness, which I went through but never debated, is the definition of a mind is that which has similarity with the mental factors that arise as its accompaniers. So it's pretty much what we defined it as, but that's the exact definition. The definition of a mental factor is that which has similarity with the mind that has it as an accompanier. So it's basically qualified by being accompanied by a mental factor being the mind, and the mental factor being accompanied by the mind. So this is what qualifies it. And here it says that the statement that minds and mental factors are accompanying and have a similarity, there are 5 aspects of similarity. So what we're going to get into now are modes in the Panchen Sunandrapa text. In the general meaning of perfection, category number 3 will be modes. And I believe that was an uncommon empowering condition. Before, when we went through the 3 things that are always present with the mind, there's an observed object, there's immediately preceding condition. The powering condition is called an uncommon empowering condition. So those were the 3 before when we were speaking of Daken, Dema Daken. Those 3, Miken, these are the immediately preceding condition, observed object, and the uncommon empowering condition. So that goes through just a few of the things that we missed during class, and I just wanted to clarify them because I was able to find them at break, and we'll go from here. Khensur Rinpoche.
다 somba 주 차송아. somba 담아 제자가 주요. 다도 somba 되면 sensajo 러서로. 다 제바 공수. 제바 담아 제자 공수에 랑 천년 공수다. 시 천년 공수 니 외에서. 너무 랑 천년 공수에 le toi ne le matin toi de rien cinq jours que j'ai j'ai pas ne connais mu tu bonja n'argent que tu langes chez ne bon bah j'ai
de lo metsawa
le
kalila
matin
yeah
na le matin conduit le de matin conduit rang que c'est gombares
lesso
le matin conduit rang que c'est gombares le matin conduit matin conduit shi c'est conduit
lesso
le matin
lesso
toi de rien gombise on toi de rien de rang que c'est ni ro
lesso
아니 지난 동안 시체니 네 소화동에와 생계지 지지 봐 세마다고 공비세 이제 마다고 공는 거로 그런 거 체니 지지시 봐 다스 근요 뭐 최본자 여자 공들어서 봐도 본자 임바 공비세 그런 거 체니 공부레스 안제다 본자 공부 시체니 나자 그 쇠랑자 안에 라라서 봐도 그걸로 라자 gomba rang chenyi ji jedang lanja gomba chi chenyi ji ro lanja she ne gomba she bi shers
the gatsi re lu sorwa dene
le tu se ju de kora de da le matan was
lesso mitsawa
le matan go de rang chenyi gomba re
lesso mitsawa shi gitseni gom
so de nga gomba rang chenyi gomba re
lesso
sen ge ji ji je ba gombe rang chenyi gomba re kono nyomo de chala so ba to so ponja gomba de rang chenyi gomba re na jang ge chu lang la so ba lang ja gomba de rang chenyi gomba re gomba she bi she des what about the maraba
so now the next category deals with examination of specific and general characteristics. So the examination of the general and specific characteristics, some examples are, for instance, if we look at the idea that the body is not pure, this is specific, but the not pure is general. So the body being not pure, general, and then the not purity, specific. When we look at feelings, we have happy, suffering, and neutral feelings. Those are specific. General is feeling. And then we look at the impermanence of the mind, the momentary nature of the mind. That would be specific, whereas impermanence would be general. And then specific abandonments on the pathway, attachment, hatred, delusion. These are specific. Pathway itself is general. So this is how we would understand the general and specific characteristics, how we would understand what they're speaking of. Digso.
다시 이제 공주 쇼스나 누지 타지 못하바. 누지 상마 못하바 레스. 누지 타지 못하바 이제 깨지마 임베지. 셰바 임베지. 뭐뭐 임베지. 어디 땅도 뭐 거요다.
Duje tamche mitaba.
누지 타지 못하바.
So if we would look at more generalities, we would say that all compound are impermanent. Duje tamche mitapa.
사지 던지
Okay.
등하와 사지 던지 등하와레스
Lesso.
등하와 인 주생 가르스나 레뉴 지정화 제인베스 사지 던지
Lesso.
그 깨지 진지데는 레던 요모 비정화 제인데스 라요 마레스 인도 등하와레스 사지 던지 등하와스
Lesso.
사지
Tomba
던지
dameba.
사지 던지 등하와 인데 레뉴 지정화 제인베스
Lesso.
사지 던지 등하와 최단지 동시 다음에 봐스 최단지 동시 다음에 봐 인데 네 덴데 임시디
Denda disa. Tuche.
동시 다음에 봐 냥알인데 봐 시신 거 냥알인데 봐 타봐 말해 타봐 냥알인데 봐 타봐로
Lesso.
녀지 봉부 타봐 시디 봉부 타봐 녀지 봉부 타봐 테멜에 요래 시디 봉부 타봐 티질 마도 상질 마도 요 말어
Okay. Okay. Niede lagu. So when we look at general statements such as all compounds are impermanent. All compounds are impermanent because they are momentary. And then we have the next statement that all contaminated phenomena are suffering. So why are contaminated suffering? Because they are among the class that has arisen from karma and the afflictions. So because they are arisen from karma and afflictions, they are necessarily suffering. The next is that all phenomena are empty and selfless. So all phenomena are empty and selfless. Why? Because they dependently originate. So we could say, because they dependently originate, they are empty and selfless. And then nirvana is peace. Nirvana is peace. When we look at nirvana, we could say that there are two possibilities here. The nirvana, which is the abandonment of the afflictive obstructions, which we have in common with a Hinayana practitioner of here and solitary realizer. They get rid of the afflictive obstructions. And then the abandonment of the obstructions to omniscience. And this is specifically for the Mahayanist who wishes to become a Buddha. So when we look at this nirvana is peace, there are two kinds of nirvana. So the je kanga shi tseni. The chu tamche dungyewa de kanga. Okay. Datala. Tuche.
다 냥알 되면 세신 거와 냥알 되면 타봐 말해 타봐
Lesso.
냥알 되면 태면ኛ데 다 대진ኛ데 니요 말해
Lesso.
대진ኛ데 니요로
Lesso.
녀리 몸에 타봐
Lesso.
시리 몸에 타봐 니요 말해 다 녀리 몸에 타봐다 시리 몸에 타봐도 요비 주세 땡도와 마이도 줄라 그수시로스 타봐도다 안에 나데 로니바도 요로
The yanje?
땡도와 마이도 줄라 그수시로스
Ooh. The Den Dua.
다 녀리 주제랑 그 리준세비 요데 최지 주의를 녀지 녀부터 된 요비에서 녀리데 내 코리 준세비 세바 요아레스 리준 봉바 요아레스 그 주의를 녀지 녀부터 된 요비에서 녀리게 네 춘나 데메 투비 싫어데 춘나 데메 투비 싫어되게 네 데닐 너그러 녀리를 너는 말ပဲ녀리 바찰 너는 말ပဲ어때 들라데네 어때 칼리칼리 녀리 세는 거 타바 용거래 시디세네 상지게 만에면한테 용거래스
So when we look at nirvana, the two types, we have the abiding nirvana and then a non-abiding nirvana. So the abiding in nirvana is one that a Hinayanist practitioner would engage in. And the non-abiding nirvana is the Buddha, the Buddha's enlightenment. So these are created by abandonment. So we find in the Leukagi, Pramanavartika Karika. So in the second chapter of the Pramanavartika Karika, it says something to the effect of that why would we say that there is a certain type of nirvana that is abiding? And we would say that because that which gives rise to the causes of it have been created. And then when we look at what that is, the abandonment of the afflictive obstructions has occurred, so therefore there's an abiding nirvana. So the abandonment of the afflictive obstructions are what causes this abiding nirvana. Now, I'm using these words very loosely because nirvana is permanent. So it's a permanent phenomena. So permanent phenomena is not caused. So the collection of causes which allow for its occurrence have occurred. So what are those? The abandonment of the afflictive obstructions. So what happens is that causes a hinayana abiding nirvana. And in order to achieve a non-abiding nirvana, one has to slowly, after the afflictive obstructions have been gotten rid of, get rid of the imprints of those afflictive obstructions, which are the obstructions to omniscience. And by doing so, one is able to achieve non-abiding nirvana, and that's Buddhahood. Diksun. That's good. The example you understood on tree. Less so. Less so. Okay, so we can use the example to understand how the abandonment of these afflictions takes place by looking at, for instance, a tree. A tree being present has various factors to allow it being present. But if one takes fire and burns it, then that tree is no longer present. It's been burned down and it's no longer growing. It will no longer grow. Likewise, if one applies the wisdom realizing emptiness so if one uses the fire of the wisdom realizing emptiness, one is able to burn away the afflictive obstructions and the obstructions to omniscience. So the wisdom realizing emptiness is similar to the fire in the sense that it burns away or gets rid of or destroys the afflictive obstructions, and the fire destroys or burns away a tree.
다시 주님 공주도 왔던 지대도와 다 수서거도스나 안에 개주인이 근주에 선주에 로주선도 주나라 천이 용소 천이니소 용다바 천이니소 용다베 셰송 뇌류 단주 류초와 생추주스모들 천이니소 다랑 천이의 시지 어떤 뇌를 송도스는 공장도 공
Then Zulatsung? Okay. So we find in who said this? What text can we find this information in about this general and specifically characterized, etc.? We find in Vasubandhu's Abhidharma Kosha, where it says that the bodies, feelings, minds, and phenomena have specific and general characteristics. So this is where we find the source of this information about them having these general and specific characteristics. So the Abhidharma Kosha is very beneficial in that it speaks quite well of karma and its effects, and it's easy to read. It's not a difficult text. but there are some concerns or problems with it because there is the cosmology that's presented where they is speaking of the universe having this Mount Meru and so forth. So that is problematic, just as a translator's note in comparing it to science and things like that. But all the other information is very helpful and quite easy to understand. So when the Kabiyare? Okay. So less so. Less so. So I remember myself and Roy Lee, for anyone who doesn't know, is a very accomplished translator who was Rinpoche's other translator before. I'm not sure where he is now, but it's somewhere doing something important. What? He's in Israel. So he's doing something important in Israel, I'm sure. He's one of the greatest scholars I've ever met in my life. And they were at a college somewhere. Rinpoche said he doesn't remember where. And someone who understood Tibetan asked him the question. He said, doesn't science completely negate this idea of a Mount Meru? So Rinpoche is just remembering someone at a class at a college who brought this very point up about, doesn't science show there's no Mount Meru? So isn't that a problem? So this text, the Abhidharma text, isn't a text that's very difficult to understand. It's one of the less complex subjects to read into. So there's this idea of Mount Meru and then a sun that circles around it in the cosmology within the Abhidharma. And scientists says we've looked, there's no such thing. Less so. Zambalin Koraja. So the scientists say that the earth turns. The Abhidharma, this is mutually exclusive with the Abhidharma teaching. But we have to understand the great benefit also that we can derive from the Abhidharma Kosha text. But there is a fault with this pointing out of a Mount Meru and so forth. As a translator's note, there's also those who debate that you can't see it. You don't have the karma to see it. So, so what's the reason? Number 5, it seems, I don't have what I wrote first, but it seems like this outline is different, but I'm just going to keep going. So number 5, 5th category, understood, Gombi Gupa? So what's the reason, the need for meditation on this? Why do we need to meditate on this? So the reason for this is the reason to meditate on this is by which the path is to conceptualize. Let me just read this. It's within the definition. It has to do with conceptualizing and engaging in the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering and the truth of origin, cessation, and path. So just let me read this point again, and then maybe it'll make the connective will make sense. The 4 close placements of mindfulness of body, feelings, minds, and phenomena, thoroughly examining their specific and general characteristics by which the path which conceptualizes things engages in the 4 truths. So it's the reason is to engage in those four truths. The path that's conceptualizing these, engaging in the four truths. So the emptiness of all these things, engaging in the four truths. Dixon.
This one.
Hey, Sampa. He said, is that it? I said, I think. So the reason for this is to abandon the first truths, the truth of suffering and the truth of origin, and apprehend or engage in, maybe better, the other two truths. We'll get your question, I didn't forget. The other two truths of the truth of path and, the truth of cessation and the truth of path. So it's abandoning the first two and engaging in the other two. So the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, the Buddha stated, this is the superior truth of suffering. This is the superior truth of origin. This is the superior truth of cessation. This is the superior truth of path. So these statements were made at the first turning of the wheel. And then the Buddha stated that suffering is to be abandoned. Origin, the Gunjungare? So then the Buddha stated that suffering is to be understood, path is to be abandoned, cessation is to be achieved. I'm sorry, let me try that one more time. Then the Buddha stated that suffering is to be understood, origin is to be abandoned, cessation is to be achieved, and path is to be relied upon. So what is meant here is that once one is able to understand what suffering is, then one will want to get rid of it. And then once one understands suffering, one will look for what the causes are of it to get rid of it. And that's why the next is suffering. The origin is to be abandoned. Because once you understand suffering and want to get rid of it, you have to get rid of what causes it. And then cessation is to be achieved. So cessation is achieved in dependence upon a path. So path is to be relied upon. So what does this mean by path relied upon? The path from path of seeing, path of meditation, and path of no more learning. So here, when we're speaking of path, it's superior path. And that starts at the path of seeing. Dixon. So Lu. Okay, so body. So when we look at the suffering of cyclic existence and so forth, we would say that body is the truth of suffering because it's contaminated and it is abandoned when this cyclic suffering is abandoned. So we would say that body is the truth of suffering. Okay.
그들이 초아대 네 뇌찬대는데서 뇌사가 줄에서 네 대화 중수나 뇌사 지용으로 동행 중수나 공주제거래 네 당주제수나 너무 지용으로다 세 번째는 통네 대본의 집에서
I see.
야
Then the gunjun.
초아대만 이제 군주는 그래서
Okay, so then we relate to the feeling in this case, and then we're speaking of contaminated feeling to the origin of suffering. So and this feeling is specifically the feeling within cyclic existence, because there is non-contaminated feelings. There are many different categories of feelings which wouldn't be under this. So that's why we have to specify that it's the feelings of cyclic existence, which are contaminated, because Buddha has feeling also, which is not contaminated. And we say that in dependence upon happy feeling, we have attachment. In dependence upon the suffering feeling, we have hatred. In dependence upon neutrality or equanimity feeling, we have delusion. So it shows that the three poisons are created in relation to these various feelings.
계지기 진지시바 통내스 네 간자기 엠베스
Digare
다게 엠베
person.
간자 다두루 통바 취지 다두루 통화 이제로다 다게 엠베 다게 통베 다두 마루베 데마 마루베 생계지기 진지시바 통내스 다지도베 집어서나 타바토는 피제 다 매바는 도바여지로다 다치지 도비 집어도 보고 그랬어 다치 도비 집어 매베 고방어도 샤누 통주에서
Dondagare Rinpoche.
다치지 도바서나 타바토는 다 매바 찬데서 하지면도 다 매바는 거도 도바여지로다 남 매바는 거도
Okay.
어디 도바도 가네 네 고바 네 어디 녀모 본도 다 매바래가 말했어 세기 쥐도 본도 마도 다 다좀 버리는 거로다
Okay.
어디 손도 말봐
Oh.
다제지 도비 제바 매베 고방어도 샤누스 통화 유시르스
Okay, Dandraj Dikson. So the next is the mind, and the mind is related to cessation, because it's in dependence upon this doubt that first occurs in the mind about true self. One has this doubt, maybe there isn't a true self. And then in dependence upon this thought process evolving, one begins to see the lack of true establishment of phenomena and self, and by doing this, one slowly abandons that which gives rise to cyclic existence. So one is able to, in dependence upon the mind, starting with this doubt, and arriving at the final wisdom, realizing emptiness, one is able to achieve the state of foe destroyer. Foe destroyer, cessation. A foe destroyer is cessation. So it's in dependence upon this mind. First, Rinpoche is saying having a doubt about selflessness and true self, and then evolving that into understanding of the lack of true establishment of self. Okay?
달로 잡아진 도간 대반 주고래 소화 잡아진 자 군중 주고래
Less so.
생 잡아진 자 고된 주고래 취 잡아진 자 랑된 주고래 어디 자 누도
Okay. So we find the connection with these four then, to the Four Noble Truths. So body, we find the connection to the truth of suffering. Feeling, we find the connection to the truth of origin. Mind, the connection to the truth of cessation. And phenomena, lastly, to the truth of path. Then Garishene, Lam? She shouldn't cut yene, Kali Gelago. Garishene. Uttara Tantra.
Utales, Nangalas, Sijushir, Ji Shadamamushir, Dambajilla Jushayu, Tabaniwajabaguns,
The Jew Lama?
Uta Shambi Chudangan on Uta Euro,
Uta, okay. Uta, okay.
What do you do the Jenny J? Then the Uta Naji, Chui Naji, what do
Okay. Then now the next is, so I asked Rinpoche to explain what is the connection to path and the phenomena. And Rinpoche said by pathway is we look at what is to be abandoned and what is to be practiced. So what is to be engaged in and what is to be abandoned. And by doing so, we are able to achieve that cessation. Then chu drawa gare Rinpoche. The chu got the lamden, the chu get drawa gare. Maybe lapson the
Dungan Gunu Guden Land, Demaji the Marvel.
lesso.
Demaji the leader. Lutabanya Dungan Deval Judu.
Lesso.
What Dungan Jun Tona Dungan the Tendichigo is. Twa Demaji to Gunu. Lutabanya, Twa Demaji to Gunu Judus.
Okay.
Gunu, there were the Twa Sajit, Doshan Denis Tone, Yamun Denis Tone, Pondichigres. Then the same Demaji the Guden Jugres, Santa Manjade, what the Casogre, the Gongina, and the Kuseju about the Yijiro. Buy a burn tree, similarly, Yijiro. They went to Bishiro, Gombitaji, and Sajik laid on Yomo to Lune, Caligale, Junshin Tabayuma, you about the Salton.
Lesso.
Then,
Lamden.
London, Treat the manager London Jugres in London. Tabatubala. Lande Gunguru Madanagan, Lande Maguna Tabatuayo Maruta. Lande Gumbitaji, you did the cities in Tabayungu Madu.
Okay.
Lande Magun de Umarwa. They are the Barangad, Parasanga, the Buddhism, Longa to Gumbala Dene, Tarangu de Gurmadu, Landu Ngel Maguna, Guden Umaro. What does one thing is that?
Okay, so just going over what phenomena. So I did translate it correctly. I was just trying to find some clearer connection to path, but it's literally that once one finds what is to be abandoned, what phenomena to abandon and what to practice, one is able to then gain a cessation. So one is able to abandon the afflictive obstructions and the obstructions to omniscience, and then one does so by engaging in path, and then that pathway then allows one to achieve cessation. So where do we find this? And we find it in Lord Maitreya's text, and Lord Maitreya has the 5 treatises of doctrine: discrimination of phenomena and the nature of phenomena, discrimination of the middle way and extremes, the ornament to the Mahayana Sutras, the ornament for clear realization, and the sublime continuum. And this particular text is hold on one sec. Discrimination of the middle way and extremes. The Nantarjepa. So that's discrimination of the middle way and extremes. I think that text is in English. think I have it. We'll check, but I believe that Maitreya text is in English. Ornament is in English for clear realization. Sublime Continuum is also in English. So we have a lot of Maitreya's works in English. And kontriwa yure.
Yeah, okay.
The moa yurbe.
Okay.
Chira moa yurbe. Okay. Now we'll do your question.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for taking my question. So I've been reading from the Gelug-Kayug tradition of Mahamudra by the Dalai Lama, and there's...
Okay, all right, we'll try. I don't have I didn't study any Mahamudra whatsoever.
Okay, well, there's a part here that says, the nature of mind, either on the conventional or the deepest level, does not change from moment to moment.
That's the clear light mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each moment of our experience is the same conventional nature of being mere arising and engaging with the content of that experience, and the same deep nature of being devoid of existing in an impossible way. Although both levels of nature of our experience do not change from moment to moment, our experience of having those natures does change from moment to moment. So, can you explain what it means when he says that the mind does not change from moment to moment?
That's speaking of the subtle, final nature of the mind. When it's speaking of that, because go back to that, read the initial part where it says that. It doesn't say the mind specifically. It says there's a qualifying thing next to mind.
The nature of mind.
Yeah, the mind gingo, the kon the Mahamudra becha yure.
Yeah.
Then the sengingo keiji mare.
Ah.
The becha, Jiao Rinpoche becha, the senging o, dendeng o, the chikshena use, hako mare, nge becha, the shingme, the kejima yomare, mitapa yomare. Use.
Use.
Hako mare, senging o, mitapa yomare. Let me see the text. You said the Dalai Lama would never say that the nature of the mind is permanent. He would not say that. So it's just there's translation also that there's faults in. Where was it again?
It's at the top. In the second paragraph right here. Nature of the mind.
Unlike our mother. The Sanging O Gunjun Demba, Dang Dundan Demba, Nyune, Kejima Yomare.
Senjungu.
Dundan Dan Gunjung, the Gunzo Dan Dundan Demba, Nicha, Nyune, Kejima Yomare.
Gunzo Dundan Demba Sijadan Tabaro. Gunzo Demba Tabayin, Dundan Demba Tabayin, Dundan Demba Ina Tabayin Michao. Gunzo Demba Ina, Gunzo Demba Ina Tabayin Macho Seguro. Gunzo Demba Ina Tabayin Macho. Sheja Tabayin, Sheja In Tabayin Macho Logro.
So when we're looking at conventional truth and ultimate truth, according to Madhyamika, conventional truth is necessarily impermanent and ultimate truth is necessarily permanent. So right here it's saying if it's a conventional or ultimate nature, it's not impermanent. If it's conventional, it is impermanent necessarily, according to Madhyamika. I don't know. I'd have to read what comes after it. I might be reading right now a wrong view that's going to be negated later because I haven't read this. I'm just saying we'd have to look at it in context. So either there's a subtlety that's not being translated, it's mistranslated, or it's being pulled out of context. So Mahamudra isn't studied till after a Geshe degree. This is very subtle material. I don't know who translated it. Alex Berzin qualified. But again, Mahamudra, a Geshe would say is very difficult. Sakya Pandita said most Mahamudra people, meditators, end up as dogs in their next life. Because it's so subtle, you end up grasping at nihilism in a form of ignorance quite easily. So I'm just warning everyone, as a non-scholar myself, Mahamudra, Dzogchen, These teachings are very difficult, very subtle, and one mistranslation, one missing word will make you end up on the road of wrong view and end up misunderstanding it completely. So the reason that teachers say don't get into this until you're educated enough, because you can't cut it and rub it if you don't have a foundation. So you're relying on a translator at this point that may or may not have it exact. So that's why you see me having a nervous breakdown when I'm missing words, because the exact translation is what gets us enlightened. A missing word, it might say the final nature, the clear light, the Rinpoche, the usel, tapa mitapa. Less so. So there is a final nature of the mind that is the emptiness of the mind, which is the mind's nature, which is ultimately permanent. So the emptiness of the mind, which is the final nature of the mind, is permanent. So that might be what they're talking about. There's two clear light minds. One is the consciousness clear light that is impermanent, and then there's the clear light, which is the emptiness of that mind. That's permanent. So the other kind of clear light mind is consciousness. That clear light is necessarily impermanent, because consciousness is necessarily impermanent. If it is mind, it is necessarily impermanent. Sem yina, mitapa yimbi chap. Yeah, so if it is mind, it's necessarily impermanent. We would not say the final nature of the mind is really mind. It's not. So all of that's needed to understand whatever that's saying. So mind's nature, if that part's about the final nature, which is the emptiness of the mind, yes, that's permanent. Conventional and ultimate emptiness, that's the Gunzu Demba Tombani Yurube, the Tombani Dak Park Dundan Demba. So Gunzu Demba. Mitaba. Nika yu. Gunzu Demba Yena Mitapa Yimi Machap. Okay, so we say that conventional truth is impermanent, but if it is conventional, it is not necessarily impermanent. Show a permanent conventional phenomena. So we say that the word conventional is impermanent. The word ultimate is permanent. But if it is, I lost my train of thought, but I already said it once, so it was okay. So then we're going to get into Natsu Karma J, then then the last is the meaning of the words, Dradun. Okay. So the last is that the meaning truly is that this wisdom which looks at the object has to not be forgotten. So there has to be this mindfulness coupled with this wisdom. So it's the wisdom, we have these wisdoms recognizing these emptinesses, but you have to have the mindfulness so that it's not a forgotten teaching. So that's the main point of all of this, that wisdom when wisdom is looking at an object, it also has to be not forgotten. So we've now gone through the four aspects of the close placements of mindfulness in the 6 categories in the Parshin Chitan. Now next week we'll go through the 4 perfect abandonments, and I'm going to try to somehow really get more of the English. I have that text, but again, it's kind of like the Mahamudra text. It's, I'm kind of a bug trying to understand the world. So Let's end there with a concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. Again, thank you, everyone. Anything that came out incorrectly was a fault of mine and not Rinpoche's. I just want to make that clear. When we get into really difficult material, my aspiration is that in the future, great scholars will look at this material and improve upon the work that I've done. And that's all we can hope for. And all we can hope for is eventually a lexicon to be created that we as translators all agree on, and then we can truly move forward and get these texts translated. So concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer, and thank you everyone for your patience. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. All I've collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the three times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. Pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, holder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche, Guti Shapi Dedono.